Welcome to another episode of PWT Broadcasting. We have a very special day today. We seem to be having our hearts and minds in Albuquerque, New Mexico, with two people from there. And it's becoming quickly one of my favorite places on earth because you guys are fantastic. So welcome, David, and welcome, Marianne, our guest.
Thanks, Carolina. Great to be with you as always. It's Friday somewhere.
It is Friday somewhere. So, Marianne, we're so thrilled to have you as our guest today. I am going to do a little bit of the official intro, but we have so many surprises for our audience, and I know they're going to be thrilled with you. You are a business strategy speaker and presentation coach. Your keynotes and breakout sessions focus on personal and professional transformation, which is amazing, and overcome obstacles in communication, often told through the lens of parent-child relationships. You have quite the resume. I'm going to because I can totally tell why you are so amazing at storytelling. Because you've had a lot of the training that really all speakers dream of. So walk us through, how did you get to being a presentation coach?
Well, I think it started in my 20s when I thought I was pretty funny, and I made my living as a stand-up comedian in New York City.
Wow.
And fun fact, my second appearance was Jim Gaffigan's first appearance. So Jim, if you're watching, we need to reconnect. Okay. From there, I got married, and that kills a joke every time.
Yeah,
not wanting to travel.
Funny about that.
You are funny.
I went into retail. I had a retail experience background from earlier before stand-up comedy, and I opened an herb tea and gift store on Staten Island.
Wow.
It was the only one of its kind. We were recognized for our unique business approach, and this was before you would see the bulk herbs in every health food store. We had the bulk herb store.
That brilliant.
Gave birth to that idea.
That is genius. Yeah.
We sold it off in 2 years to move out to Albuquerque, where today I am a business strategist after running a gamut of a career in healthcare information. Where I managed cross-functional teams located in several countries and having several disciplines. So trying to get C-suite executives, customer service people, sales and marketing experts, programmers and developers to speak the same language takes a lot of attention and care. And I learned through making a lot of errors.
And I would imagine that your humor... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just about to say, good judgment comes from experience, and experience only comes from bad judgment. Right?
Nice.
Oh, I like that. We're going to repeat that quote. That is brilliant. And I would imagine is huge, right? Because, for entrepreneurs that understand that broadcasting and podcasting and public speaking and writing is key to getting your brand out there, right? It's one of the most cost-effective ways to really be a thought leader. But for corporate people, I would imagine that is they don't know, it's not necessarily what they signed on for. You know what I mean? Especially executives that have been executives for a long time, and all of a sudden being charismatic on social media or having your keynotes recorded and then distributed to the world, not just to the group that you're presenting to, certainly would provide a big challenge for sure.
It's true, but I don't think it's that different. The key to communication is connection. And if we can add to our message with a story that creates a connection, where we are focusing on the emotion and the care, my audience feels only what I feel.
Yeah.
Your audience feels only what you're feeling. So we have to tap into that. And as a result, we become more authentic. We become more impactful.
I like to say that how we make people feel is perhaps paramount to what we know. I tell my team that all the time. As we're recording authors, we're recording podcasters, the experience of working with us, that's the connection. And of course, them with their audience, which we'll get to. But See, it's all
Yeah.
emotional, isn't it, Marianne?
It is. And relationships are key in every aspect of business and in your personal lives as well.
Yeah, so you work with some, and I know we were speaking in just the pre-show, our pre-show wrap up, that you have some pretty special announcement from some of your speaker training that has occurred through the years, and I'll let you tell it. And for people that are not familiar with that organization, which I doubt there's many that are not familiar with it, it is a very competitive, high standard organization. And for you to achieve the accolades that you have is a huge, huge, huge deal. So I'm going to, not that you're shy, but I am going to nudge you to pat your own back, lady. It's like you're amazing at it.
Thank you, Carolina. There's one thing I've never been accused of. It's being shy. But thank you for the opportunity to talk about one of the speaking organizations that has really helped me, and I hope it can help others as we develop our message and our presentation skills, and that's Toastmasters International. It's one of the organizations to which I belong. I have worked through many programs. I've been the president of several clubs. I've held officer roles. I've been a district director, which oversees different areas and different clubs. But most of all, I have made such wonderful personal connections with professional speakers and people who are just sneaking into the room, afraid to say hello, lest we ask them to stand in front of the lectern.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pleased to announce that this past month in July, the ink is still drying. I have achieved my Distinguished Toastmasters designation, which only 1% of Toastmasters worldwide get that designation. So I'm pleased with that. And that is one of a long list of goals where you just continuously check them off. Right?
Can I ask a question about the Toastmaster process? Because I've never been through it. What I don't know if it's 1, 2, or 3 things that you feel like it taught you to do that you wouldn't have known you could do. I'll ask it like that.
Sure. Well, let me preface that by saying I joined Toastmasters after having been a stand-up comedian and earning my living at a stand-up.
Right, which requires a certain profound amount of bravery. I have such admiration for you for doing it. I don't know how anybody does that. Yeah. Come on.
I joined to develop my skill set and content, which if you don't exercise the skill set, it falls fallow, just like I'm not exercising in lockdown. Okay, I need to exercise more. That's an example of that. But when I walked into Toastmasters, the best benefit is to get immediate feedback from your club members in a safe practice space. We encourage trial and error. When I'm giving a keynote and I'm in front of an audience of 500 people, that's not the place to experiment. That's the place to deliver. And that's the place to have an impact. Toastmasters allows that safe practice space to develop so that with the feedback of others who are also on the same journey as you, you can really hone those skills.
Nice.
Is there I imagine there is a specific criteria as you're getting this real-time, I'll call it real-time feedback, immediate feedback from those who are working with you? Are there criteria they're measuring you against, or is it more free-flowing or fluid?
Well, it's a limited time span. Your evaluation on your speech is usually 2 to 3 minutes that you receive, and it's structured depending on the goal that you are trying to achieve with that speech. For example, I might want to focus on my vocal variety. I might want to really make sure that I am bringing it to life by adjusting my volume and my speed, or perhaps I want to focus on my physical gestures, whether it be in an online space or in a face-to-face space. So getting that specific feedback, reducing the use of filler words, which can be unconscious, the ums, the ahs.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Toastmasters is an excellent place to start that journey. When you're ready to really take it on the road and really launch your brand and your business, that's when you come to me.
Yeah.
We
And
talk
now
about
even
how to hone your speech.
And even better is that we are launching PWT Speakers Bureau, where we are going to be able to get people started and bring you as one of our mentor experts, in addition to
So
other
excited.
surprises that we have. But absolutely, is for women to find their voice and to be able to really, because women love stories. And however, I believe that there is a great learning opportunity for women to learn how to tell stories succinctly and powerfully, right? On a time restraint, and knowing that storytelling, it is a craft. It is something like for public consumption, right? This is not storytelling. Maybe in your book you have the luxury to go a little bit more in detail, but when you are on stage, when you are broadcasting, when you are communicating, and you have seconds to get your audience, like, I often tell David that in my world, the sexiest the sexiest words are "tell me more." Right? When you begin to speak, and you get them, you got them, they get you, right?
Mhm.
That chemistry happens in seconds, and unless you're able to get to the point, or at least for them to know that they want to know more as soon as you can. It's an artwork. It's something that you work very hard at.
Yeah.
And I have attended. I attended one. It just the timing didn't work out. One of the Toastmasters in Canada, and I always thought, you know what, being an executive, and I was actually an executive at the time when I attended, because I was just beginning to do public speaking, right? And I always thought, you know what, like, you're doing a great job, but I know that we can do a better job through Powerful Women today, right? Because now it's niche based. Now we're teaching women, right, from all diversity, inclusion, cultures, how to raise their voice, right, in a way that they're heard. And we're so thrilled that you're joining us. And today you bring to us 3 tips for high impact storytelling.
I
So
am.
yes, you are on the hot seat, my friend. The number
You
one.
a very good point.
Mhm.
When you are on stage, the moment you are there, you take a deep breath, connect with your audience, and then you have 3 minutes for your audience to know you, to like you, and to trust you.
Wow.
Because before they care about what you have to say, they have to know that they connect and they care about you because you care about them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When you're creating your keynote, this goes beyond the Toastmasters 5 to 7 minute speech. We're going to focus on a 20 to 40 minute presentation.
Correct.
The first thing you want to do is to outline and create. You have a message, you have a passion, and your message needs to be out there. Don't worry about the order. Create the outline of the points you want your audience to walk away with. What are you giving of yourself? What is the service that you are providing in that presentation space? So that's first. Outline and create. You want to speak to audience presentations. So if my audience is all women, I am not going to talk about boys soccer unless I'm talking about it from a mom's perspective.
That's right. Or a player, or if you're a female player, right? Like,
So know your
boys
audience.
soccer specifically.
yeah, know your audience.
If you have,
And one of the thing
know your audience.
Sorry, one of the things you mentioned, and I want to really clarify this because I get contacted a lot, because we do a lot of live conferences and events. And now that we are going to disclose our surprise, we're going to be doing even more of them. That when people get a track in our events, right? And I'll say, it's a 20-minute track. And they oftentimes, this is not a keynote, this is a regular track. A keynote will be 40 minutes, right? And they often get a little bit insulted. It's like 20 minutes. Like, I need more time than that. And it's like, no, 20 minutes is a TED Talk. If you cannot deliver, right, like a really succinct, high performance, high passionate speech, 20 minutes is all you need. After that, I find people begin to loop around, right? Like we're circling the airport after a while. And it's like, you know what? You need to bring it home. But so I'm glad you said it, because I've always felt that as an event producer, but I'm really glad that as a speaker coach, you are also, you have the same parameters for time.
So that's fascinating. In other words, there's a sweet spot where 20 minutes is kind of what a speaker presenter ideally needs to connect, make the substance of their argument, their points, their whatever it is they're going to present, and get out. That's like a sweet spot, because it's true in podcasting too, by the way. It's about 22 minutes.
Usually it's like 5-minute, welcome, 5-minute exit, but really your content and your delivery and your service is 20 minutes.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I want to get to point 2.
Okay.
You have outlined and created without care for order. Now you care for order. You know what your audience expects, what your meeting planner hopes to achieve, and what your message is. Right. Now you rehearse and you edit, where you start with your signature story, with your heart connection story about your content and how it relates to your passion, followed by what you want to teach the audience. 1, 2, 3 points more they won't walk away with. 1, 2, or 3 hit them home points that they can use immediately and in the long term. And then your call to action, how do you want them to engage with you after this? Because if you have a service to provide and a message and it resonates, people want to keep in touch with you. They want to keep with you and keep working with you. Yeah. Wrapping it up, bringing it home again with that emotional connection. Okay?
Absolutely.
So we rehearse, we edit, go through those. So that's your second.
And like rehearse, record yourself, show it to other people. Like by the time you come to your event, because trust that something will go wrong. Trust that the technology will fail, right? Trust that your slides won't come on, like, the mic won't work, the ears, headset, something always. And I always used to love, I still do, love the high impact, high player presentations like Steve Jobs, right? Like every time he was presenting a new product, technology would fail. And it's like, if it's happening to them, you can trust that it's going to happen to you. Yeah. So when you know it like the back of your hand, you or your event's running late and you gotta shorten, you gotta expand, you gotta, know what I mean? Like you need to have all of these, down pat, right? That is to be a professional, and especially if you want to be in the category that you get paid to speak, right? Then you have to reach like mastery. And I don't mean to scare. I simply let you know from an event producer, right, that when you're wearing the keynote crown, there's a lot of expectations. And what I really love about you, Marianne, is that you know how to use humor, because that is one of the fly traps that a lot of people get caught on. So the fact that you're teaching people how to use humor and how to use the proper cadence and tonality and engagement through your voice, that is brilliant. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. One of the best pieces of advice of having humor is being in the room. And that may sound like a no-brainer, but what can happen is people rehearse, that any deviation from the rehearsal, they don't know what to do. Right. So if you're in a nightclub and the waiter drops an entire tray of drinks in the back room, every head turns and you continue without acknowledging it, you're not in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
The room.
I like it. Yeah, because you know what? I was just thinking when you were saying one of the craziest things, because trust me, I've been speaking for a long time and I've seen just about anything, but one of the craziest things that happened very early on was that, the big displays at the bottom of the screen that is walking you through your slides so that people don't know that you're getting your cues. Well, someone walked in front of it, tripped on the cord and unplugged it.
You're kidding.
And it's like,
That's an
so the slides behind me, correct. The slides behind me are still happening, but I can no longer see them. And they don't know that I don't see them, right? And it was just one of those like, okay, what are we going to do here? And I found right there and then that the best thing you can do is just tell the truth. Right. And say, my slides just disappeared. Right. And people will laugh, people will engage. And I'm not as well versed on humor. And I'm hoping that you will be my training mentor on that, in delivering, like the being a little bit more daring on the usage of humor, because laughter is the universal language. Right. And if you can make them laugh, you got them. You got them. Right.
Because it's an involuntary thing, right? It's like sneezing. It's like, in other words, there's something about laughter that pulls them in an authentic way, because they're out of control. There's a momentary out of control if you're laughing.
And there's vulnerability in laughing, in laughter, right? So there's trust. There's so much that goes with it.
I'm so only laugh at what you find to be true. And in that moment, when you said to your audience, okay, this is what happened, there is no one in that audience and no one in this audience now who hasn't been in a situation where, oh no, this wasn't supposed to happen. We get it. We connect. It is a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's not taking yourself so seriously. There's a balance there. You want to deliver with, you take it seriously, but not so seriously that your ego is in the way and that you're trying to protect it being perfect, and there's a perfectionism thing. It's kind of this relaxed, here we are together in the room, and something crazy happens.
And I'm telling you, as an event producer, correct, we've had conferences like 300-500 people, and I have to tell you, you have to have fun. I get, and as an MC, especially if you're the MC, you need to know your humor and how to read the room. And because I've had introductions, and I'm Hispanic, I think everyone knows that, if you can tell my French accent, that they're handing me introductions that I swear they swallowed a thesaurus. And it's like, I can't even pronounce these words. It's like, dude, right? Like, so you begin to change things, and that throws them off. And oh my God, there's so much to a live event, right? That is speaking is such a power. Like I am, and David and I share this absolute mutual admiration society, which now you're included. Thank you. We are absolutely in love with broadcasting and communication, and there's nothing better than to hear the message live from the creator, from the thought leader, right? So you need to make sure that your live delivery, or when they meet you, it matches your brand, it matches and exceeds, right, your brand. You know what I mean? Because they've had little breadcrumbs leading them to you, whether it's promotion or your website or whatever, that when they meet you in person, it should be like, wow, right? Like, all of it coming to life. And sorry, I get excited about it. So next, back to you, our guest.
She's very passionate.
She's very passionate. This is why I'm so excited to be part of Powerful Women Today and the Speakers Bureau, and to help these women who, you don't know how much we have in store for you when you join on with Powerful Women Today. It will all become evident as we roll out through the United States, but I am so excited to be part of this force that will lift women up, and we will lift each other up together. Oh, I can't contain it. But
see, I love it. We found our tribe.
When you are sharing about your business and your message, a powerful open and a powerful close are important. What I said before, be in the room. Don't be so beholden to your rehearsed lines. Well, there's an exception to that. In the refining and improving, which is step 3, which is the detail work, where we take that fine paintbrush and we just put on the details that will knock your message out of the park.
Absolutely.
That opening line and that closing line that leaves people, what we like to call the kick to the gut. Remember you a week later, a month later. So these are
I love that. Know how to close. I had an interesting comment, and I think I mentioned it to you, David, last week,
What's
that
that?
I work with a lot of executives, and one lady, she's so funny. She texts me her, because now we're turning digital, right? Which now is instantly broadcast, and you don't know how often it's shared. So she did some kind of moderation, and these are like high accolade people. And she did some kind of moderation on digital moderation. And she sent me the recording, and she said to me, "Can you take a look at it? Because I don't like to watch myself on video." I'm going, what are you talking? How can you learn? How can you improve if you're not checking afterwards, right? Like if you're not just to see like, oh my God, I look like I have Tourette's, or you know what I mean? Or, oh, that was good. Like I just need to work on that. Like if to achieve mastery, you gotta polish, right? And which is what you're trying to improve. In what you see is not what the audience saw. So, stop is so critical, especially women. And these are all most of my exchange, except for David, Dominic, and Lee, and all the wonderful men in my life. Apparently I have many, many in my life. But anyways, most of my professional interaction is with women, right? In women, Gen X, and early millennials and late boomers. And there's that apprehension, and there's that because we didn't grow up with it, so it's not meant as criticism. We didn't grow up with a camera pointing at us, recording our every move, right? So it's completely understandable that people are nervous, and that once it's out there, you lose control of it.
Yes.
Which it happened to me a lot at the beginning, that people wanted to do selfies, and I wasn't always ready, or I just didn't know how to take a selfie properly. And then later on, every time I would get announced to participate at a conference or be a keynote or whatever, people get excited, so they begin to share like pictures of you with them, right? And they're just like these ugly pictures, and you got no control. It's like it's out there, right? So you just own it, you smile at it, and you make fun of it or not, and just honor it and get past it.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Good
genius.
stuff.
So we have some absolutely incredible news. We're saving the best for last. As you know, David and I are partners in PWT Broadcasting, and I'm extremely proud of the work that we're doing for women and women authors, women speakers. And it's really broadcasting, writing, and speaking are your passport to success as far as being an entrepreneur. And now we are able to take Powerful Women Today, the movement, throughout the United States. And actually, Marianne is one of our chapter city chairs in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yay! She's actually launched in September. And we're beginning to expand throughout the U.S. There's like 6, 7 chapters rolling one after the other. So if you are in the New Mexico region and would like to check out more about meeting Marianne, there's an event coming up September 24th. Yes, sorry, there's many dates running through my mind. September 24th, we're having a meet and greet with Marianne, and of course, David's invited, and we'll talk more about it. And of course, you're also part of our Speakers Bureau, and I'm sure we're going to be offering your services throughout our broadcasting network to really get people to polish that messaging, because you're a speaker, whether you're broadcasting, podcasting, being digitally a digital speaker or a live speaker,
or just selling the services that you offer. You are a speaker. That is still a stage. If you are one-to-one with someone, whether it be at a cafe or in a video conference call, we are going back to face-to-face. But having your message honed, these principles work in front of hundreds and in front of one.
Yeah, in an authentic manner. So is your authenticity polished, if that makes any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
right?
It does.
That is the true mastery, because you really want to be yourself, but you want to be your best self. And that's what we're here for, to support you. So we are absolutely excited. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're absolutely thrilled. I know we're going to be doing a lot more, getting to know PWT world. And I'm just so proud of you guys. Like, you really, really, really touch my heart. Your
Thank you,
dedication,
Carolina.
your talent, your commitment. You just brilliant. So
You're an
Thank you, Carolina.
inspiration.
Great to be with you always on Fridays. You can always find us here on
That's right.
PWT Broadcasting,
Absolutely.
Carolina, and I'll join
And
you.
and Marianne now has her own email. It literally occurred as we were putting the slides up. Marianne at powerfulwomentoday.com,
Beautiful.
which set up probably by the end of day today. But if you want to get a hold of her, you know how to find her through
Great. My Albuquerque
because
women reach out to me. My non-Albuquerque women
waiting
reach
for
out
your
to me
message.
too.
And men that
let's
are in
go.
touch with their female qualities inside. Yeah.
Yeah, men all over.
Or if you have a client that knows that need it, right? Yeah, David. Oh, we just love you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful
Thanks,
afternoon.
guys.
And we will see you
Enjoy.
Monday. Speaking of leadership, and have a safe and wear your mask, keep your distance, and stay safe. Take care.
Be well.
Bye, everyone.